Hey there, Ribbon fans. I'm Jason Ruff, and welcome to the Dry Dock Podcast. Hey there, Ribbon fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Ruff. This is the podcast where we talk about the 40th Riverman Championship season that was. Get a chance to talk about that year with some Riverman greats past and present. Our next guest is a man who needs very little introduction because he could probably do it himself, but we're going to try our best. He was a rock on the blue line this year, one of the more eccentric personalities for the Peoria Rivermen, and easily, in my opinion, won this team's award for fan favorite. I'm, of course, referring to Mr. Zach Wilkie. Wilkes, how you doing, my friend? It's great to see you. Good to see the Mohawks still there a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I got it trimmed up the other week, but still rocking the blonde. Things have been going good here. Been working a lot and working out and just getting prepped for next hockey season, basically.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, recently, I have to ask, you had a big party with the President's Cup with a couple of your teammates. How was that party, and how was it catching up with some of your former teammates? I know Eric Levine was among them.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we had Gertz up here and Levy showed up, and it was so much fun. We got to relive some of those fun activities that we did after we won with a few beers and just catching up and talking about the year and sharing it with family and friends. It was almost like having the Stanley Cup at the house. Everybody was having a good time. We had food, some drinks. I mean, it was unbelievable.
You just didn't have Phil Pritchard with the white gloves, right?
I could have told Gertz to bring white gloves. I bet he would have put them on.
I'm sure he would have. Well, Wilkes, one of the things that I think everyone loved about you is your eccentric personality. I mean, as I mentioned in the open, you won the fan favorite award last year. How long did it take for your personality to really shine through on the ice? And where does that personality just come from? Where you just feel like you just love in every single second that you're on the ice, whether it be in a game or even on the warm-ups?
Yeah, I think that when I first came to Peoria, I was a little bit more quiet and all that stuff. But then as I got to know the guys and Guy and everything like that, they just wanted me to be who I was and how I am. So I'm this loud, boisterous person that just enjoys being at the rink because hockey's supposed to be fun. It's the same game that I played when I was a little kid, and I just transferred that over into the pro game. And if I can make a fan in the stands laugh or yell loud or anything, it's one of my major things that I make sure I put out there and contribute.
Well, you had a number of those chances to make the fans get loud on their feet, especially in the playoffs. I'll never forget that goal that you had. Nice centering pass from Alec Hagem in the left corner, right to you in the slot. You just pulled your backhand. That was probably the sweetest goal I've ever seen you score all year. And you had a couple of good ones, including one that unfortunately was disallowed, I believe.
Oh, I think I had like 3 or 4 disallowed this year. Seems like when I shot it from the point, it tended to, either hit the goalie a weird way, go in the net and come out too fast, or somebody was running into their goalie. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. That's what happens when you have no video review.
I guess. So something we got to take it up with the league. Well, Zach, we talked with L.A. Grissom last week, and he made mention of the chemistry and the camaraderie that you two sharing a locker right next to each other, being on the same deep pairing or whatnot, even knowing each other before LA came to the Peoria Rivermen. What made you two work not only as deep partners, but as friends and teammates off the ice, do you think?
I think we just got along with everything. I mean, off the ice, we were always cracking jokes with each other and smiling. And my goal every day I walked in that locker room was to make LA laugh somehow, and it seemed to work. And I mean, I think that just traveled onto the ice. Our game together, with him being that huge shutdown style defenseman that at any moment you better keep your head up because the big train's coming.
Yep.
I mean, and then me being able to be a little bit more offensive playing with him, it was just that 1-2 punch that we were able to pick up on and just keep rolling through. And I mean, off the ice, we were always messing around and joking with each other. And I mean, I tried to take some style points from him. Didn't work. I'm not a stylish guy, so I was like, all right, I get it. I see how it is, man. That's cool. But I mean, no, it was great. I mean, I met him when he first came, and I helped him move into his house. And off the bat, I knew he was going to be a great teammate, and he's a great person overall. And it's one guy that I could say I could love playing with for the rest of my career if I was able to, for sure.
Well, you might be playing against him because LA recently announced this past week he's signed with the Allen Americans. You've signed with the Wheeling Nailers, both teams of the ECHL. You two could actually be on opposing blue lines here in the E this season.
That's true. I mean, I don't think I'm going to go up to him and be like, "Hey, big man, let's have a good fight here." I don't think I want to deal with his big body coming after me and possibly running me over to start with. But I mean, nothing wrong with a little healthy competition. I mean, might be like, "Hey, if you're still in town, loser buys dinner tonight. Let's do it."
Fair enough. Although I'm very curious who would win in a bout between you and LA Grissom. I really would be curious to see that one because you had a couple of good tilts yourself there this season.
Yeah, I mean, me versus him in a tilt, I think it would be a pretty 50-50 matchup. He's got me on the height and all that stuff, but you saw I go a little crazy. I tend to smile when I get punched in the face for some reason. I think I learned that a little bit from Hags because that guy's always smiling when he's getting punched in the face. So it's something that wore off on me. And you put me and Hags in the same game on the same line, going after a couple guys. It's like, oh, watch out.
Well, that happened a couple of times this season, especially when Jean-Guy needed some kind of offensive spark plug. That was the teller. If Guy was not happy with his offensive line, Zach Wilkie get called up from D, put on a forward line, and you got placed with Alec Ackman a couple of times. And whether that provided the spark or not, you really did seem to at least jumpstart that line a little bit. I think in large part because of your spark plug attitude, but your offensive game just grew by leaps and bounds. I always said your patience with the puck was night and day from say November or so to April, just night and day.
Yeah, I think, with the confidence that you get from Guy when you play for him, he's confident in you to go out there and make plays and have fun while you're playing. And, if you mess up, like any coach, he gets on you, but it's a healthy get on you. It's a, let's go, get your butt moving. You're better than that. And I think, coming, not playing hockey for 2 years and just playing men's league to jumping right into pro and getting an opportunity to achieve and strive to be the player that I want to be it was amazing. So, I mean, like you said, from day one to the end of the year, I think I just myself took strides. And I know I can play a tough defensive game, but I always really wanted to round out my offensive game. And I think Guy allowed me to do that.
Hockey part aside and coaching aside, what do you think is it about the Peoria Rivermen in the city of Peoria that makes it such a great hockey town?
Oh, the fans, the passionate fans. I mean, no matter what day of the week, if it was snowing, if it was raining, there was people in the crowd yelling and screaming, and they were always behind you. Even if we were down in a game, they were yelling at you to pick it up, and you knew that one spark plug with a hit, with a fight, they're screaming. It's loud. I mean, it was the fans for sure. That made being in Peoria all year the best part.
Was that part of the reason why you decided to stay down for most of the year? Because I believe you took one call up early on the season, then you came back and you were just a mainstay on the blue line for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, when I left, I went to Carolina, and I enjoyed my couple weeks that I was there, and then I realized Peoria is where my heart is set on for the year, and that's where I wanted to be. I mean, I had conversations with my mom saying, like, I don't want to take any more call ups. I want to stay here all year. This is the team that I want to be a part of, especially because I had that feeling as soon as I stepped in that locker room from day one that we were walking out with a championship this year. So I knew that's where I wanted to be. And I made my choice and I stayed there all year, and it was the best year of hockey I've had in a long, long time.
Speaking of those playoffs and of that championship series, what was your favorite moment of the playoffs? This is a question I've asked everyone over the course of
Ooh.
this series. LA actually said one of his favorite moments, even though he takes playoffs the exact same way mentally as he does a game, was when he had those 3 or 4 blocks against Quad City in that decisive game 3 at the top of the second period on a 5-on-3. And you're just sitting out over the other side. No one's coming to you. They're all going to LA. So with that caveat aside, what was your favorite moment of the playoffs this year?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of good ones that I like, but I think if I'm going off of basically what he said, is almost the Pensacola series when we were up by 1 in what was it, game 3? And I think I blocked like 4 or 5 different shots in a row.
Yes.
And my leg felt like it was gonna fall off after that game. It was in so much pain, but like it was pure enjoyment because we had gotten through the first round, and we as a team were counted out by every person in this league except for our own fans from the start, saying there's no way that we're not gonna perform. And I think when we proved as a team through that series with the hard fight and the blocking shots and doing whatever it takes, I knew right from then, boom, best team in the league right now.
Well, that's all because this team had great resiliency, and you can certainly understand why outsiders at least would be counting the team out. They had gone 0 for 3 in the last Knoxville-Huntsville series, had a couple of good wins, but then really did not play up to par against Quad City at the very end. Lost 2-1 to the Storm here at home before rounding out with Vermilion County. Kind of, I don't want to say sleepwalked into the playoffs, but just jogged into the playoffs because the Rivermen had a spot locked up for, I think, since like February.
Yeah, I think as a team we took our foot off the gas a little bit, and I think it was more like, all right, we don't want any big injuries or anybody to be hurt going into the playoffs. So I think we were like laid back a little bit, but as soon as we got into the playoffs, it was like, boom, it's time to go. We can't be doing this 500 stuff. It's time to go. We were preparing. We were doing everything it took as a team, on the ice, off the ice, to be prepped and ready to go for every single game.
Second to last question here. I've got this one, which is another general question. Then I got a fun one just for you. This first one, now that you've signed with the Wheeling Nailers, congratulations, by the way. We're all very, very happy for you. We know you're going to do great things next year.
Thank you.
How are you preparing to make your debut at the start of the season? What's your summer been like now that the ship is in dry dock, so to speak?
I mean, basically doing what I did last year to prepare. A little bit better eating though. I mean, I came into the year last year, I was a little heavy and all that, but I mean, training hard, getting on the ice as much as I can. I mean, ice in Illinois is pretty expensive, so when I have a chance to get on the ice, I get on the ice. And I mean, I work manual labor, so that's a workout in itself. But I mean, it was a weird situation with Wheeling. I mean, actually, it was one of my mom's coworkers that know somebody, and he gave a call to Wheeling, and Wheeling called me, and I was like, okay, awesome. This place looks pretty cool. I mean, Pittsburgh organization, pretty sweet. And then the coach was like, we loved how you played. And talking to the Wheeling coach was like talking to Guy. I mean, just excitement through the roof. And for me, just having another coach tell me that stuff and be excited for me to come to that team has made me go into like ultra drive to be prepared and ready to just go there and do what it takes to win games and have fun and, get the crowd going crazy. I mean, I'm going to go to camp with this like mohawk I got. So, I mean, I'm going to be like, hey, this is me. This is what you get day in and day out. It's going to be this crazy, weird guy, but you're going to love it.
Zach, are you kidding me? Who wouldn't be excited and just through the roof the fact that they're going to get Zach Wilkie on their team? That's the whole package.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean,
defense, he can score, block shots, he can fight, get the crowd. Zach got everything.
I mean, maybe not everything, but we're working towards that.
We're working towards that. There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, there's my dog going off in the background. Sorry.
Last question for you, Zach. Before we let you go, you can give your dog some much needed pets because I'm sure that's what he's yelling for. Everyone who knows you knows you are a diehard Batman fan. And more specifically, you love the Batman villains, the Joker. So I want you to give me the Zach Wilkie definitive top 5 Joker list. Go.
Oh, top 5. All right. I'm going to go at number 5, Cesar Romero. Classic. The original. 4, probably Mark Hamill. You know, the cartoon one. He's unbelievable.
Wow, you're ranking Mark pretty low there.
He's not up there, man, in my opinion.
Okay.
He's not all the way up there.
This is Zach Wilkie's list.
Then you're going to go with Jack Nicholson. Boom. 80s. Awesome. Gangster. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Then we're going to jump up to Jack One Phoenix. I mean, different take on it. He was best friends with, you know, Heath Ledger and all that stuff. And he tried to take a little bit of his, a little bit of Jack Nicholson's. Awesome. And of course, my guy who I got tattooed twice on me, right there. I'm going to show it for the camera. One there, my man, Heath Ledger. Number 1 Joker, best Joker there's been. Unbelievable. No shot of a doubt.
Well, you and I can definitely agree on number 1, though. I put Hamill as a 1B, but that's just difference.
Ooh.
That's just difference in the cartoon. I think if you could get Mark Hamill doing like dark, he'd do it, and I think he'd knock it out of the park.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Hey, Ruffer, since we were talking about the dog, there she is.
Oh,
say hi to the podcast, Liberty.
Hi, Liberty. Hi, sweetie. See, what else can you want on this podcast? You get the wonderful conversations with Zach Wilkie, and you get to see his dog, Liberty. Wonderful. Well, Wilkes, thank you so much for spending a bit of your day with us. Thanks for introducing us to Liberty, giving us your definitive top 5 Joker rings. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion about that in my part of the fan base, but you know what? That's what it's all for. Wilkes, thanks so much. Have a great summer. We look forward to following you and your career in the ECHL. We know you're going to do great things, my friend.
Ruffer, thanks for having me, man. This was awesome.